There we go.
There we go.
I'm paranoid. I'm always looking for it, you know.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Chico Chapter. My name is Tim Sharkey. I'm one of the organizers here for 1 Million Cups. I am with Chico Start, Operations Manager, and we want to thank everyone for taking a moment out of their day and showing up and being part of the 1 Million Cups revolution. And I'm sure Eva, I want her to talk about the 1 Million Cups. What did they call it this year? It was all live this year instead of going out to Kansas City, Missouri. Is that where it's at?
Is it the summit?
Yeah, the summit. So they had it all online, so that was pretty interesting. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups Chico Chapter. I want to thank our sponsors and our organizers, Wendy Porter with Butte Colleges, with Community Colleges of Northern California. I want to thank it's Eva Shepard with Chico Start, and myself. That's about it right now for organizers. So if anyone wants to step up and help with our 1 Million Cups, would be greatly appreciated. And we also thank our sponsor, Mr. Kent Hastings. When we are out in the field live, he is doing our video and audio recordings and doing the editing afterwards. So after doing it for a little while, I really appreciate your time, Kent. Thank you for the sponsorship. Very much appreciated. So what is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is put on by the Kauffman Foundation. It's a nonprofit that bases their focus on entrepreneurialism. So they wanted to make sure that everyone knew that there is an open door for being an entrepreneur, starting your own business, that you don't have to go to college. But people don't know that, you know, if you have an idea, you can share it and start making money tomorrow. So this is the platform where you can come and share those ideas. Within 6 minutes, you can talk about your idea, talk about your current business idea if it's under 5 years, get some feedback from the community, and get some constructive feedback. Looking at your idea with different points of view is amazing. And sharing different successes and failures with these new people, with their new ideas and their new business concepts, helping them take that leap or take that step is huge. So having a platform and a venue where they can come and watch other people go through the same processes, make the same mistakes, make the same successes, but also to have like-minded people come together in one place to help support each other. And that's what this is about, a place to help support each other with your ideas and hopefully get you in the community, because small businesses help create America's economy. So, and especially right now, there are plenty of ideas out there and plenty of opportunity even with what's going on. It's just taking some different ideas and different point of views and putting your talents to work. So hopefully, 1 Million Cups helps share those ideas across the United States, which it's happening right now at over 150 different locations. So that's amazing. I have to say that actually with the COVID, we're having more people sign up to share their ideas and their business concepts than we have before, because we can have more people from out of the area come in and share their ideas. So if you know of anybody, they don't have to be here in Chico, that has a nice small business, is just starting out or wants to have a platform to talk about it, please tell them about 1 Million Cups and have them come join one of the meetings, have them look at all the different chapters, take a look at YouTube, watch some of the other videos. And yeah, it's a little scary sometimes, but having feedback from like-minded people really makes you feel part of a community and a family. So I want to say thank you to 1 Million Cups for allowing us to be part of this organization. And now we're going to get started with Ray Laager with KZFR. He's going to talk about what they do at KZFR, but also how the economy is working right now amongst COVID, and how different businesses can use this opportunity to get together to share ideas, same as 1 Million Cups, and talk about how it's more of creating the relationships along the way that helps further the economy locally. So reaching out and being part of that community. And Ray is a huge part of our community. I have to say, I have run into him over the last 15 years doing all kinds of different roles and wearing different hats. So Ray, you have the floor. You can start sharing the screen if you want, and we'll go from there.
All righty, thank you. Thank you for that nice intro. And I imagine I'm going to see what's on my screen here. Let's get this going here. And oh, we're starting at the end. We wanted to start at the beginning of this one, so let's jump to the beginning. Okay. All right, I guess I'm up.
Yes, sir.
So is anybody here from outside of Butte County that's in the meeting today? So just as a point of reference. So KZFR, we're a community radio station. Just to give people a quick background, there are really three kinds of radio stations. There's your commercial station, which everybody's familiar with. You know, they play the hits and all the stuff and shock jock and all that. And they do whatever they want. They can raise money any way they want. There's public broadcasting, which is known as NPR, which is National Public Radio, which is basically, for lack of a better term, state-sponsored radio. It's really run by the government, believe it or not. Your tax dollars go into that, and that's how they get the majority of their funding. They also sell their products to their franchises around the country. And great, you know, I'm a big listener, but that's really how that happens. And then there's community radio. And community radio is made up of community volunteers. You apply, you get your licensing, and that's really all it is. You do your own funding, you create your own programming. You can apply for grants, and there are some federal funds that trickle down every now and then to community radio stations. But that's how it happens. And there's a number of them throughout the country, not as many as there used to be. Chico is lucky enough to have KZFR, which has been around 30 years. Our footprint is pretty large. We were talking about it earlier. We broadcast from Magalia, so we've got a nice high transmitter tower, and we reach basically from the Sacramento airport all the way up to just below Red Bluff and across the valley up to Sterling City. And then we also stream at kzfr.org and have a smartphone app as well. 17,500 weekly listeners, which is great, and really a really diverse amount of material. The other thing that makes us a little different is we're program based. So if you tune in on a Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, you're going to get 2.5 hours of jazz, followed by an hour of dancehall reggae, followed by classic rock, followed by a bluegrass show. So it's really, I mean, we cover everything from classic to hip hop, up and down. We broadcast Democracy Now!, locally produced news programming, but it's all done in blocks of time. Some of the genres are mixed, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. That kind of helps that explain how that works. But our basic listeners tune in for over 2 hours and 20 minutes at a time. So they don't just hang around until they don't like the song and jump out. They're there for the whole thing because they tuned into the blues show, or they tuned into the old school reggae show, and that's what they want to hear. So they want the Kingston Beats. That's what they're going to stick around for the full time. We are programmer based. We have about 80 volunteers that put on the station. We only have 4 employees. We have a full-time general manager and a full-time office manager. And then we have 3 part-timers, which what I'm included in. I'm the underwriting director. I secure the basically advertising, for lack of a better term. Being a nonprofit in the FCC land, we don't use the word advertising, we use the word underwriting, but that's what I do. And we've got everything from children's programs all the way on up. I think the little guy in the yellow shirt actually was not on the air, but the girl in the pink was, and that is my youngest daughter when she was 10 years old. So, but over the years, we've had literally hundreds of volunteers that have made it happen, and a really strong board of directors that helps as well. Voted Best of Chico 2015, 16, all the way up to 19. Not sure if that's going to be happening at the News and Review this year, but we hope so. In years past, we had won this award so many times that they took it off of their voting because it just became too redundant. And the reason I really say that is that we are really well known, and you might have seen some of these around town. I don't know if you can see that, it's backwards, but our KZFR sticker, I mean, we're kind of everywhere, for better or for worse. We have a really strong following. We're listener supported. About a third of our budget is about $300,000 a year, comes from doing pledge drives and our listeners supporting us. The other third of our budget comes from underwriting, which is what I bring in, and then we get another third from grants and events. So we have done a lot of concerts over the year. This is Genge Fever. We had him here a couple of years ago at the Women's Club. We do, again, a really diverse amount of concerts. Unfortunately, in the days of COVID, that's all been shut down, which we'll get to in a few minutes. That has really affected our funding to a certain extent, but we look forward to the return in that as well. And that has also been a really good way for us to move on. I see a 3-minute warning there or something. Sorry.
Oh, no, our lights are on timers here. They went out on me.
Oh, okay. Why don't you give me a 5-minute or a 3-minute or something if you can.
Okay.
Here's just a quick look at our program guide. You kind of see it broken down. The wood background ones are informational and news programming. The plain white backgrounds are our music shows. So just for fun, you know, we start off on a Saturday morning with rhythmic storm of instrumental music, followed by a Zydeco Cajun show called Bon Martin, followed by Island Rhythms, which is a Hawaiian music. And then we go into folk, and then we go into a live and local music show. So it really shows you the diversity that we have. Our reggae programs are wildly popular. Our Friday afternoon is wildly popular with a Grateful Dead show that goes right into a Devastation Sounds reggae show. So to kind of start the weekend off right. And then we have another very popular show on Friday night, Dinosaur Hour, which is basically psychedelic rock out of the San Francisco area, followed by the Cultural Rules of Aztlan, which is a Chicano show, which is really fun dance music. So we're kind of all over the place. KZFR.org is the place to go for information as far as our programs and our program guides and those things. So, okay, let's talk about the current climate. Now, the reason I put this up is collaboration is imperative. I mean, with the shutdown of COVID, we have lost about 15 underwriters that just could not continue to pay as their businesses have closed. And one of the most important ones in that was Chico Performances. As you know, they do a lot of local shows, and we have been their advertising mechanism for years and years. They don't even advertise on the Chico State radio station. They advertise with us because that's where the audience that's reaching their people. So that has been that has impacted us pretty tremendously. We're altering our next year's budget by 33% to make for these adjustments. Some silver lining in this is there's more people home, and we're all working remotely, and we just got our numbers in from ASCAP, and we are moving through the roof. So we've picked up a lot more listenership and a lot more loyalty. We've done a couple of fundraisers. We did a completely online fundraising event about 2 months ago with a goal of $10,000 in 5 days. We made $25,000. So we have the support, and we have the community behind us to keep us afloat. But the idea is to work collaboratively, and again, as many partners as businesses can reach out to. Even your competitors, you'll see a radio station up, a couple of radio stations, TV stations up here. You know, you would think that we're competing with the News and Review for advertising. We also collaborate with them because it's stronger to work together. And I think that's something that is going to get to be really emphasized here as we move forward in this new day of pandemics. The other thing I want to reach out to that we've been making a big change with is I've been really focusing more on institutional support. Previously, I've really looked at helping small businesses, mom and pops. We don't have huge corporations underwriting us. We don't have car dealerships. We don't have gas stations. We don't have Coca-Cola and those things. We have locally owned businesses. Unfortunately, in this pandemic days, they are the most vulnerable. So I've been moving more in the direction of bringing in institutions. A nice example of that is the census, 2020 census through the North Valley Community Foundation. Also with California Health Collaborative, working with Enloe Hospital and other places to kind of bring them in. And you'll see some of these. Chico State has always been a big supporter for us, as well as Downtown Business Association and the like. One thing that we're doing to really help refocus is we are creating a new news program that will air, I believe the last week of August will be its first airing. It just got put through. And it is specifically focusing on Butte County news. It will deal with the Board of Supervisors, and it'll deal with the city council meetings in Gridley, Paradise, Chico, and Oroville. So that's really the focus, to really drill down, especially in an election year like this. You know, we all tend to go with the big sexy stories of national news, but the truth is that hardly affects our lives as much as the simple things that are happening at city council and Board of Supervisors meeting that affect us greatly. So that's something that we're moving forward with, and we're really proud of that. We're also working with some other collaborations with other organizations like the Chico News and Review to help them kind of retool and maybe offer them an audio outlet to help that happen. The other thing I want to just say is staying true to our cause. And being a community radio station, we are different, and we are the community's, outlet for information. So that's really our focus, and that's really where we tend to stay. And even in these challenging times, I know that we will be around. I know KZFR will survive this just in the way we're structured, but we want to try to increase and bring back as many local businesses as we can, and keep them dialed in. And that's really where it's at. If you haven't been to our website, kzfr.org, please check it out. You can stream our programming off of that site. It also has our program guide and a list of our underwriters, which is something we also offer. We do specific announcements to drive people to our website. They click on the underwriters tab. There are links to all of our supporters' websites or Facebook pages, so they can stay in tune that way. And the other last thing I want to mention, well, I got a couple of things, but is Business Network International. You'll see BNI up there on the logos. That's a group we joined about 9 years ago. There's a couple of different chapters in Chico, and it's a referral-based group where the group I'm in has about 34 members. We meet weekly via Zoom right now, and we share referrals. We're on par to top $2.5 million this year, scratching at $3 million. So for new businesses that are interested, please contact me. I'd love to have you come and look at it as a visitor. And in these days of virtual reality, BNI has great assets. It's a worldwide company. So if you're starting an internet company, you're not just serving Chico or Butte County, you're serving the world. This gives you an outlet into thousands and thousands and thousands of potential clients. The other thing I want to ask is for referrals. I know a lot of people that are on this call and in this meeting are community-based and community members and work with other businesses or community nonprofits and organizations. If you're having an event, if you're having something that needs money raised, if there's something of concern that's happening, please contact me. I can help you get the word out. We can do it through our Facebook page. You can do it through underwriting, which is extremely reasonable. It's like ridiculously cheap. It could be $100 a month. So anyway, just get a hold of me, Ray Laager. Even easier, underwrite, WRITE at kzfr.org is the way to go. Thank you.
All right, Ray, that was awesome. I'm sure everyone has some questions because I have a few I wrote down. But let's take this moment. Let's reboot this, and so we can record the rest of the Q&A. So we'll see you guys back in just a few seconds. And we are back.
Ray?
Weather is already changing, and I have to say, it feels a little different in the evenings now.
Ray, you're showing my screen shows backward too, but I think everyone sees it, the correct way. So if we hold something up, people will be able to read it.
Yeah, it was shown correct.
Yeah, I think people can handle their own image like a mirror better than. That's why they do it that way.
Okay, great. Great. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, again, please jot my email down. I'll give you my cell phone as well. I'm good on texting and that. And Kent, I would love to connect with you after this meeting to find out what you're up to, because your skill set is something that we are interested in, and see if something happens. I also am one of the main proponents of BCAC.TV, which is Butte County Public Access Television.
Yeah.
That is also through my wife's nonprofit, Friends of the Arts. So
I think Eva, she's on the line. She claimed, at least at one point, that Chico Start members get access to BCAC.
that's true.
That is correct. That is correct.
All right. See, I have an office over at Chico Start.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's correct. So that'd be great. Matter of fact,
I think Ray also wants to talk to you about other things. I mean, he was just about to talk to you about, which I'm sure take offline. But this now is Q&A time for Ray from the audience.
I have a question. This is Wendy. Ray, can you tell us a little, I know you've been with KZFR for a long time, but can you talk to us about the history and how did it get started?
Yeah, that's great. It was in my notes to talk about that, but I just kind of blew past it. I got excited. It started in 1988. A number of people, Eric Mathieson being kind of the main driving force behind it, was interested in community radio. A lot of us came from other areas where we had these things, and he actually lived in Red Bluff, had the idea of a community radio station, started talking to people, and it took about a 2-year process to get it going. Dan Robles, who is our original programmer, who is still on Friday mornings, was part of that gang, and it was about a 2-year process to get everything done. Steve O'Brien, owner of Pool and Cyclery, right on Main Street there, was our first underwriter. So we raised some money, got it going, and when we originally started, we used to programs were recorded on a reel-to-reel. They were driven up to the tower up in Magalia, and the person sat there with the tape recorder, held up to a microphone, and sat there for 3 or 4 hours and played their shows. So it's changed tremendously, obviously, over the years. And one thing that we're kind of jealous of, Ken, is that automation technology software, which we've been looking at for a while at KZFR.
Oh, yeah.
But like everything else, funding is always an issue. To be honest with you,
this is a free thing I'm talking about. So. Oh
yeah, great. Okay, well that's something else to talk about. But we've been upgrading our equipment tremendously in the last couple of years, and trying to keep everything up to date as much as we can. We are rebuilding our apps right now, so that's something that we're looking forward to, launching a much better smartphone app for both Android and iPhones. Hope that answered that question.
Sure.
I was thinking for your fundraising, try to have an app where people can just, Venmo right in, instead of having to call in or do something like that when you guys are doing your fundraiser, because having people in the office, remote phone calls, just different things. So.
Oh yeah, no, we do. And we do a lot. It's all done through the website. And then we also do a Google voice call, voicemail. You just call into the Google number as well. And to be honest with you, this is one of the silver linings in this. We have talked about doing our fundraising all online. And, when people like the socialization of coming by the studio, there's coffee and pastries and, free pizza, and it becomes like a little party, which is a lot of fun, but it's not very efficient or effective. And it takes a lot of work from staff to go on 10 days, 12-hour days. I mean, it's a grind. And and I'm out there trying to bring things in. We found that by doing it online in 5 days, we're making more money. It's cheaper for us to do. You know, it costs us about 15% of the fundraising went out in expenses, ship everything and all that stuff. Now it's just, people don't expect anything. They're just like, here, stand here, here's $5. Have a nice day. I don't need a mug. I don't need a clean canteen. I don't need another Chico bag, you know?
Hey, Jamie, I think you might be having some noise on your signal. You might.
So we're actually planning a fundraiser coming up in September here as well, and also doing some virtual concerts. We've had a number of some of our people that have performed for us over the years say, "Hey, I would love to be part of something to help you guys keep on keeping on."
So I have another question. Ray, you mentioned that your budget is around $300,000 a year, and you don't have a lot of staff. It's really similar to how Chico starts staff level. I'm just wondering, what's the breakdown of your expenses for that?
You know, you'd have to talk to our treasurer. I mean, I could generally tell you that probably, you know, roughly 25% is probably wages for staff. Again, the operating expense for PG&E and all those things is about equal amount. We have a pretty good reserve. You know, our dream is always to have 2 years of funding in the bank. Of course, we don't have 600,000 in the bank, but we probably got 2, you know, or 3. So, you know, if we had to cut down to brass tacks, we could do that. And equipment, you know, it just depends. I mean, sometimes, honestly, about 4 years ago, everything melted down, and we spent like $30,000 on new computers and all this stuff. And we hired those guys over there in the Garden Walk Mall, computer guys, PC, whatever, the PMC or something like that, now come in and do regular maintenance and all those things. Before, we were just kind of ticky-tacking it together, you know. We had an operations guy that was very, you know, he was an IT guy. But again, you know, it was Band-Aids, you know. So, matter of fact, when everything melted down, we found out that it all went back to one piece of equipment from like 1994 that had never, ever been changed. And it ended up, you know, taking down the elephant, so.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so Ray, I appreciate the fact that you were talking about what COVID has exposed in a way and how you guys are pivoting to, you know, still, you know, be able to function. Can you expand a little bit more on that? Like, how did you guys come up with the idea to do the online fundraiser? Not to say that isn't obvious, but, you know, just like how was the decision making made, and then other things that you guys might have forecasted for, you know, during, because this ain't going away.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, I mean, this isn't groundbreaking stuff, but it's the motivation to have to do it. You know, it's so easy to put these things off, and it's like, oh, we should be all virtual. You know, you know, in an organization our size, which is, again, is 80 volunteers, you know, we've got everything from the extremely technologically literate to people that refuse to buy a cell phone. So, you know,
You mean my husband works for you? Huh? What?
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, unfortunately, sometimes it's the lowest common denominator that rules the roost. But because of this, that has all been wiped clean, and nobody's saying anything. It's just like, you know what? Here it is. I'm sorry. That flip phone you carry is so cool. Isn't really that cool anymore. So, you know, and that's helped a lot. And it's also, you know, again, it's always easier just to keep on doing what you're doing than to put the extra time in and develop something new. And the online fundraising, I've been involved in a number of these where it's you know, the concert idea and these things, and it's you know, I'm looking forward to making it happen, but it's something we've been talking about for a long time, but now we have to do it.
Right. Well, I'd like to talk to you more about that, because we're gonna, you know, I've been looking at a few ideas in that realm too, and we are going to have to do it.
Yeah, and I have some great people that I've met and been working with that can assist as well. I'll bring those guys into the fold.
All right, I'll let other people ask questions. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just going to comment a little bit about the news aspect, and that's something that really has come out of really need. It's just really hard to get local news, and like anything else with the car fire and the campfire, I know everybody was frustrated about trying to find the information. People started their own Facebook pages, which helped get the information out, which was great. But, our local news places, they're selling a product, and, so they're not going to tell you, hey, right now this is happening or this is happening. So that really became a point with this. And we've been kind of talking about it for the last 6 months about getting more local coverage. And I'm excited about it. It's going to be a half-hour program. It's going to air on Thursday evening. So it gives you plenty of time before the next round of meetings. The supervisors and most council meetings are like on Tuesdays, like Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So the idea is to get this out so people have a chance to look at the agendas and see if there's something that interests them. And then we'll repeat them on Monday beforehand as a kind of a reminder. And they'll also be available on our website and through other outlets. It's not just going to be a KZFR thing. It's going to be offered out to other possibilities.
It's really good to hear, because you're absolutely right. There was a ton of frustration around that. And then in my opinion only, I hate it when I see something that was on the agenda that I didn't know about, that I would have at least, even if it was just to go watch the circus, no, I'm joking, but that I would have liked to have been able to hear in real time, and not have to try to find it later. So, but I think there is a huge glut in the local news. And I think that under the umbrella of being more self-sufficient as a region, that is going to help tremendously. So I really applaud you guys for looking at where are the gaps and how do we fill that, not just with Zydeco or reggae, but with news too. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is, and again, this is something that we just have to look at now, and nobody's coming to rescue us. We have to take care of ourselves. That's just the way it is. It's great to get a stimulus check. It's great to get, these things, great. But the truth is, as we're learning now with the this situation we're with people taking this seriously and people thinking it's a, destruction of their future or something, nobody's going to come and rescue us. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to look at ourselves as a region. And I think that's important. And I'd like to see a lot of collaboration with the surrounding counties as well. And I know that's something that hopefully the supervisors are looking at as well, because, Shasta, Glen, Butte, Tehama, we're all in this together, because this is how we intermingle. We don't intermingle that much with San Francisco anymore. We don't intermingle that much with Sacramento, but regionally, and we're really strong regionally. So
we're having the CERT team from Sacramento come up over at the sheriff with the sheriff's posse to do some training for CERT. That's on the 30th. So I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's amazing. Those guys are awesome. They're years ahead of us. We just started a CERT group here, and we're making some progress. But anyway.
Yeah, no, it's, honestly, it's important. And I think, again, everybody wants more information about what's happening locally. You read something in your paper and you're like, what? They just raised the price of our water? What's going on here? Why did
the only local news I ever see mostly is just ads on Facebook complaining about, we got to get rid of so-and-so because he's a bad person or whatever. And that's about all I ever, it's like, what, who is this? What's going on?
I know.
Oh, Democracy Now! That's kind of a Pacifica thing. Do you guys have any link with Pacifica?
We do. I mean, when the station started, they had a link, but it's not a very strong relationship. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Sure.
Like we have to pay for that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's not like they're saying, hey, you can run this. They do offer, and a lot of other news sources do, free programming. You can download
Right.
it.
Yeah.
But, and we've done that in the past, but the truth is anybody can get that anywhere. We really want to have time sensitive news. That's what this is about. Weekly things that are happening. And like Eva said, I mean, things pop up on the agenda and you're just like shocked, and with, honestly, it always takes government the longest to figure it out. I mean, there's really no reason why the city council and the board of supervisors meetings can't be done like this, even if there's hundreds of people. Organizations do it all the time, where people be able to chime in, and submit their questions and things in advance. So hopefully,
I have a dumb question, because like in Santa Monica, they used to put their board of supervisors or whatever on the air, and I'd be driving around. I could listen to what was going on. Can you listen to the live thing here in Chico?
Yeah, you can. So Chico City Council, those broadcast on television on Comcast Channel 11, on BCAC TV.
Okay.
Also on Granicus. So if you go to the city website, there's a link, and the same with the Board of Supervisors. You could go to buttecounty.net, and the agenda will be there. And then when the meeting starts, I believe at 9 o'clock on Tuesday mornings, you can hear the audio and see the video on it. It's a Granicus. It's through Granicus.
Okay. Whether about 4 or 5 minutes left, so just want to give a heads up.
Okay.
I have another question. This is kind of off topic, sorry, but it's going to seem silly to you, I'm sure, but I'm just curious, how does a radio station get started? And do you have to pay like a monthly fee to get access to airwaves, or how does that work?
No, once you file, I mean, since we're not a commercial station, so it's FCC, and to be honest with you, I was not a part of that. But you pay your licensing fees, you apply, they award it to you. You have to maintain, we have a board of directors. We have to follow the Brown Act because we get public funding, do the grants. We have requirements that we have to use. One of the things that affects me the most is in the underwriting, we have limitations of no enticements, no calls to action, no pricing. So you can't be like, come on down to Joe's Hamburger Shack. It's 2 for 1 hamburgers. They're only 99 cents each, and they're the best in town. You can't say any of that.
Okay.
But you can say, this program's brought to you by Joe's Hamburger Shack, serving Chico's since 2002. Joe's Hamburgers provides organic beef and, gluten-free buns. Have a nice day. So you can say those things. But you
have gluten-free water. Come on down.
You can't say free water. You might be able to say complimentary.
No, he said gluten-free. He said gluten-free, but yes, you're right, that too.
Oh yeah, gluten-free.
Gluten-free.
All right. So Ray, how have you seen the model evolve? Have you seen any difference in how your business model has evolved over the years? I know that it's evolved from a staffing standpoint and technology standpoint. And sure, fundraising has been around since the beginning of time, but I'm just wondering if you've seen any other thing that you could share with your audience about.
Yeah, I have. Honestly, I've been doing the underwriting for 10 years now. There was one person before. There's only been 2 of us in the history of KZFR. In the beginning, it was really all just donation. But we were only on, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. Once we started really developing to 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day, it changed things. And kind of in the beginning, it was pretty up and down, I don't think there was a lot of thought brought into it, to be honest with you, the way it was formed. I've been a business owner. I've been a landlord. I had income properties. I've started a couple of businesses that I've operated for over 25 years. So I kind of came into it with a more business sense to it, I think, than it was done before. It was a little bit done before, almost like a barter market. It was a little bit of a, selling your goods on a blanket versus, having a store. And also, I think our underwriters were also a little bit more that way. When I came on, and also through working with BNI, I really tried to bring in I hate to say it, but more professional organizations, not so much just, for lack of a better word, like hippie stores and, the cosmic scene. So, you can only have so much, so much of that. So that's really helped. And that's also attracted a whole new look of other businesses, because they're like, oh, Mike Button's with you guys? Oh, I've known Mike for years. He is like the pillar. Oh, you guys are part of the Chico Chamber of Commerce now? Well, you're part of the Downtown Business Association. So those kind of things, making those relationships and getting us access to those people. I'm often surprised at who I would see at our concerts. Like, I'd be like, wow, there's Bud Slater and stuff.
Right.
And I'd be like, hey, Bud, what are you doing at this crazy Commander Cody show? He goes, are you kidding me? He's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's like, hey, I was young once too. I was like, hey, right on. Dude. But, it exposes you to people that you would not necessarily think are listening to KZFR. And it always surprises you of the people that are.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
And that is awesome. And we're going to have to wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen. We have 4 minutes left, and I have to jump on at 10 o'clock right after this. So,
right.
Hello?
Ray, thank you so much for sharing your information,
hang on just
your knowledge, and about the community. So you're a big part of the community.
I have to jump off. I won't be able to join you at the 10 o'clock thing because I have to do some other errand here.
Thank you very much, Kent.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kent. Bye, Kent.
All right.
So, yeah, thank you very much, Ray. We appreciate it.
thank you.
So I want to thank our organizers, Wendy Porter, for showing up today with Butte College's Eva Shepard and myself. And Kent, thank you for being the sponsor, even though you had to leave. Remember, go out and share 1 Million Cups idea and its philosophy of it's an open community and a safe place for you to share your ideas and jump into being an entrepreneur. So if you know anybody with crazy ideas, bring them in next week, tell them about it, share it.
Right. That's
And
right.
remember,
We love crazy ideas.
Crazy ideas. Bring them in. Bring Cousin Bob. So I want to say thank you to everybody. And remember, go out and be awesome today, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thank you again so much, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.